Good evening. Hello, viewers. This is attorney Gehi, and welcome to this program brought to you by Gehi and Associates. And today, on Green Card with Gehi, as promised last time, we're going to talk about employment-based immigration categories and how to get your green card through your employer. So we are mainly going to talk about the second category, the EB2 category, as to how you can get a green card under the EB2 category, especially because it is current for most countries except for India and for China. So let's discuss the EB2 category. Now, employment-based second category is meant for people who have an advanced degree, like for example, if you have a master's from the United States of America, or if you have bachelor's plus 5 years of work experience in the profession. So now that helps you to get under the EB2 category. Now, the easy way to explain is you came to the US. You obtained a master's degree in computer science from a very good college. Let's take an example. You went to Baruch College, or you went to NYU, or you went to the University of Georgia. You got a master's in computer applications or master's in information systems. And in your country, where you came from, you had around some experience, well and good. You're here on a student visa, and you fall under the STEM occupation. Since you fall under the STEM occupation, you're blessed with a long-term OPT for nearly around 20 plus odd months. So what you can do, you may not need an H1 at all. You can speak to your employer. You can talk to your employer and let him know that, sir, I'm not from India. And I know that India is badly backlogged. And I'm not from China. China is backlogged, but not as much as India. India is back by many years. The current processing date for India is 2009. And for China, it's 2016. But if you're from any other country, for example, you are from Africa, you're from the UK, you're from Pakistan, you're from Bangladesh, you're from Poland, you're from Ireland, or if you're from Trinidad, if you're from Guyana, or from any country, except from India or for China. Think about the EB2 category. And EB2 applies to two sorts of people. People who have the equivalent of a bachelor's degree from the United States, plus 5 years of consecutive work experience in the profession. So that will help you to get into the EB2 category, or if you have a master's degree, that can help you a lot. Now, take an example. My name is John Smith, and I just finished my master's program from the University of Georgia in information systems. I got my OPT. So I'm not from India, I'm not from China. I'm from the UK. And here I find an employer. So I need to start talking to the employer right away. I can tell him, sir, I don't think so. I even need the H1 if your company can directly consider sponsoring me for a green card. How can that happen? So he will have to start with the PERM application. That's a labor certification application. After the labor certification is approved, then he can apply for the I-140 and the 485 together. And within a year and a half or 2 years, you may qualify for the green card. But remember one thing, you always have to be legal in this country. You cannot overstay your visa, especially when you're applying for adjustment in this country. Only time you can do that is if you had a case before April 30th, 2001, and if you're grandfathered, that doesn't apply in most of these cases. So let's keep it safe and simple. Now let's take another example. I get a lot of people, from the scientific sector, like if you're an architecture, you're an architect, you're certified as an architect, you met this big architect firm, so they want to hire you. Start with your OPD and start thinking about your green card from day one, which means start talking to your employer. And if he likes your skills, and if your skills are special, unique, and extraordinary, and if he cannot find a ready, willing, and able American worker who meets the requirements that you have, the good news for you is that he can basically apply for your labor certification. And once if the labor is approved, then you can apply for the I-485, with the I-140, and you may be eligible for a green card. So these are things that people are doing a lot with our law firm, especially when they have a master's degree. Now, what happens if you have a bachelor's degree? Things are not as bad as you may think. So now, if you even have a bachelor's, and if you're here on this particular visa, if you're on a legal visa, so at the end of the day, what you can do is that start talking to your employer, stay legal, continue your student visa, and your employer can still sponsor you. Some critical questions I get that, is it necessary for me to work with the employer while the process is going on? The answer is no. The answer is no. Is it necessary for me to keep working for the employer while this particular visa is going on, which means the green card processing through the employment-based immigration category is going on? The answer is no. The law on the point is, once if you get a green card, then you want to work for him. Now take an example about a student. He's in college right now. He's doing a PhD, and he gets interviewed by a big company. And they love the brilliant researcher in biochemistry or in the sciences or in any other faculty. They fall in love with his credentials. They say, Mr. Brilliant, we want you to come and work for the company. So this man makes a demand. He says that, listen, I want to finish my PhD first. But if you're so very much interested in me, we can begin my green card process. While he is pursuing his PhD, concurrently at the same time, the company can sponsor him for a green card, because the law on the point is, once he gets the green card, then he's going to work for the company. So if you're legal, you can continue to work. If not, you're working right now, in a sense, in your school as a researcher or whatnot, and if there's this XYZ company, and they're saying that you can come on board after basically you get a green card, even that is permissible under the law. So as I said, employment-based green cards are very important. Now let's talk about something very interesting. And this applies to a lot of people and they don't realize it. You are Mr. Brilliant. And you're that great person who has a master's degree from the United States. And you're proceeding towards your PhD. And at this time, you have written several publications. And you're literally on the verge of getting your PhD. Means like you're just 3 months away and you know that you're going to graduate. And now you have these 17 publications, 16 publications. Do you know, under the national interest waiver category, you can directly qualify for the green card without even having a sponsor? Well, let's take an example. You're here and you are that well-known person who just finished up their PhD. And you have done this amazing, special, unique, and extraordinary research in the sciences. And your research has been recognized by your professors. You're a physicist, and you came up with something extraordinary to deal with, an easy way to go to the moon. I'm just talking in the abstract. So taking a shortcut to go to the moon, or going to the moon on a drone, unheard of. That's what brilliant people like you do. Not people like me, we are lawyers. So we help you to get to your destination. So we'll be the drone for you when you get a green card. So what we are doing here is that we are imagining this great person, and he has these publications, and he has an invention, and he has a patent. Fantastic. He's written about in different magazines. His work has been recognized by his peers, and he's co-authored a book, or his name is in different periodicals, in scientific magazines. You're covered on TV, whatnot. Even if you have those kinds of credentials, consider the national interest waiver category, or self-sponsor your green card under the EB1 category. So let's talk about the EB2 category. Now, what you're doing is that you're talking that you're Mr. Brilliant and you don't need an employer. If you're Mr. Brilliant, you don't need an employer. PhD, go for the EB1, don't even get an employer. Say that exactly, there are 18, 20 people ready to write for me. I've been published everywhere, and I've done a lot of great work. I've spoken at top conferences. I've been a judge in this particular industry. I'm an expert in this industry. This so and so. New York Times has written about me. I was written up in the Newsday. I've been in the Huffington Post. Fantastic. I was written up in this fantastic scientific magazine. Great. Look into self-sponsoring yourself for the green card. Now, you are from Denmark. Great. There's no waiting period because under the EB2 category, your category is current and you are Mr. Brilliant. You have these 15 publications. Consider the EB2 category. You're from another country, or you're from the UK. Consider the EB2 category. You're from Canada. Consider the EB2 category. You're from Mexico. Consider the EB2 category. So these are very important things that people need to understand, that there are ways through which you can even self-sponsor yourself for a green card. Now, with India, what I've seen is that what is my recommendation for people from India? Now, many people come to me, they kind of basically think like any other person. If you are serious and if you want to aim, and if you're trying to get a green card, I tell everybody, it's not that difficult these days for you to finish up your PhD. Get a PhD, go for an online PhD, which is recognized. At least you're going to jump to EB1. And the good news is that EB1 is progressing. The wait time has gone down by 8 months. So this is what I would do if I was from India. I would look into the EB1. Even if you're from China and Chinese students, Indian students, they definitely need to look into getting the EB1 categories. So that would be the best way for them to proceed. But if you're from any other country, luck is working in your favor. Even if you're not Mr. Brilliant, let's put it this way, I'm a mechanic. I'm looking at the EB3 category. What is the EB3 category? It's meant for skilled workers. Skilled means I have skills, which means I'm a mechanic, I'm a plumber. That's a skilled person. And if you have the skills, a skilled occupation is an occupation that requires a minimum of 2 years experience. If you have 2 years experience in that skilled category, you have nothing to worry about. A cook also is a skilled person, because cooking is an art. And you have more than 2 years experience, great. But remember, the trick is that you have to be legal in America. Now, someone asked me a great question that, Mr. Gehi, I came to this country, I am legal right now, and people are very much interested in my skills because I'm a very good cook. And all these top restaurants want me to come and work. So the first thing you'll have to do is you'll have to stay legal in this country. Then look into getting a work visa, or if you're not allowed to work, at least stay legal in this country. And which means that you can continue on your visitor's visa, or you can change your status in this country to a student visa, or look at any other visa you may be qualified for. So once you're legal, then even that restaurant can apply for you. But the trick is staying legal these days. And if you're legal, a lot can be achieved. So these are some fantastic, simple examples for you to understand the basics of the employment-based immigration category. Now, let's also touch a little bit on the O visa category. You're this well-known actor. You're a well-known athlete. You're a famous personality. You're the best dancer in your country. Or you've won all these great awards in dancing. You're a well-known top model in the world. And you're someone who's acting in a big American film with Tom Cruise, or with with John Travolta, or with anybody, I would say, and you're going to work on a film with Sandra Bullock. So the good thing is that think about the O visa category. Now on an O, what can you do? You're a person of extraordinary ability. And once you get an O, you can work over here with that particular company. And if you are famous, if you're well known, and if your work is great, then you should also consider that if you've done something in the national interest, if you can do something in the national interest, you can even self-sponsor yourself for the green card. Or if you're very exceptional, think about the EB1 category, depending on your credentials folks. So as I said, what I've seen in my entire experience, especially in talking about a lot of people who are on H-1Bs here, the mistake that they do The mistake that they do, especially they're from India or from China, and I'm talking about these countries in particular, because they have this vision that the only way to get the green card is either the EB2 category or the EB3 category. Get that out of your mind, folks. Fortune favors the brave, and if you cannot get into the house from the door, jump in from the window. Elevate your credentials. Think about the EB1 category, and you're living in the world of computers, and it's maybe easy for you, and you're so bright that you should be able to get your EB1, which means a PhD with some publications. Look at the difference. India is at 2009, and if you get to an EB1, you're up to a 2019. So the question is that I've been helping a lot of people who have these green cards going on from companies, and we basically mentor them, we counsel them, we make sure that exactly we show them the path, and we do the legal advisory for a lot of people who are on H1Bs to make sure that they follow the right path, and if they're ready to work hard, of course, then they can come out of the pigeon hole, which they can kind of basically use to, in their favor legally, and basically you go by the book of law. And I can assure you, if you're Mr. Brilliant, if your company is not ready to sponsor you, Google may take you up, especially when you get your EB1. Amazon may take you up. Any of these companies that love your credentials will take you up, and and you can do very well. So folks, remember, if you're stuck up with a consulting company under this EB3 or EB2 category, start thinking about your future on your own. And they are always there basically to tell you, okay, the longer it's going to take for the employer, the better it is for him. You are on the losing end. Start getting on the winning end, folks. So now it's time for us to take some questions. And it's 6:45, and it has been a very interesting session, especially about employment-based, visas. And let me announce our show, for the following week. In the following week, we are going to talk about how to get your green card if you have a deportation order from the United States. If you have been ordered deported, how can you still qualify for a green card? That's a very important topic. It applies to people who are out of status in this country, who have a deportation order, who have an exclusion order. That's going to be a topic for the following week. So we'll open the floor for questions. Yes, so let's go to our chat screen. And all right, so we are recording the session. Thank you so much, Shamoon, for that. Now let's Kaushik Sawant. What are your thoughts on deportations exporting COVID-19 to poor countries? What are your thoughts of deportations? I think the question is very much unclear as to what do you mean, what are your thoughts of deportation exporting COVID-19 to poor countries? So, well, exactly, COVID is something that's, rampant all over the world. So the thing is that what any country needs to do when they are sending people abroad, they need to make sure that they run the proper test. And if they test negative, then they should be allowed to fly outside the United States. And I think that's a common rule of how people are being sent back. Even at airports, you have tests being conducted to make sure that COVID doesn't spread. But I'm a well-wisher of everybody. God bless everyone. I don't want anyone to get COVID. And if someone gets it, my prayers and good wishes are with you. And I even wish the very best to my enemies in life. Because at the end of the day, life is too short. We all need to think positive. We need to be positive. We need to make sure that we we love everyone in life, because life is too short. So that's my answer to Kaushik Saha's question. So this is a question from Carlos Altamirano from Facebook. What are the status of immigration courts? New York immigration courts are still closed. A lot of immigration courts are closed. But if you have a deadline coming up, if your paperwork is coming up, just make sure that you are submitting everything. Don't wait for the court to open, because if the court doesn't open, does not mean that they may waive your deadline. So if you have a deadline on your case, if there's something, make sure that you keep working on your case. That is one recommendation I have for you, Mr. Altamirano. That's my answer to your question. So if there are more questions, as I said, you can come on Zoom and ask us the question. And since it's a live show, we'll be happy to take your questions. Or you can, send us a chat message, and please do mention your name. And anonymous chats may not be responded to us, and we follow strict guidelines, and everything is recorded. So therefore, keep everything professional and make sure that exactly don't use any language that may hurt anyone's sentiments. And basically, that's why we keep the show recorded. And we'll trace people who make any negative comments over here, or if it's anything against a person's race, religion, or national origin, because we respect everybody equally. Ravi Kumar, can I have my asylum case drawn back from extension? It was extended to April 2021. So, Ravi, what you'll have to do is you'll have to basically try. I'm not saying that it'll happen. The likelihood is that they may not give you an earlier date, but you can definitely try. But if you're asking me, judges are not moving those dates earlier because everybody wants an early date. That's my answer to Ravi Kumar's question. So, you'll have to wait. The other thing what you can do is if you have gotten married, if your status is changing, then only the judge may consider terminating your asylum case. And if you have a legal entry, then they may consider terminating that. And you may have a chance of adjusting status before the USCIS. Now, that's my answer to Ravi Kumar's question. So if there are any more questions, please feel free to kind of send them online, on chat, or you can chat with us on the show and ask us questions on Zoom directly, because this show is live on Zoom at this time. If you have a question, please do raise your hand and let us know so we can answer your questions, please. And this show is live, so this is a great opportunity. If you're a first timer, to ask your question here. All right, well, wait for around 15 seconds, otherwise I'll go to the next topic a little bit, and we'll talk about the employment-based immigration process. All right, Saif Afridi from Facebook. Does the H-1B visa ban affect me if I am in the US? No, Saif, it does not affect you, but my warm recommendation to you is that do not leave the country right now. If you're going to leave the country, then they can hold you outside. But right now you're in good status and safe. And if you're not from India, you should also work towards your green card. If you're not from India or from China, because those two countries are backlogged. So you should start working on your green card. Now, Shamoon has a question. What would be your suggestion or advice is the best for first year PhD student? Shamoon, firstly, the good news is that you're right on track. And if you're a PhD student, try to get as many publications as possible. Get published and start thinking about your green card. And if you're thinking about your green card, as you rightly know, you can reach us at info@gehilaw.com. So we can start looking at your paperwork and we can start assisting you in that direction. So that's a question to Shamoon. And that's what I would do. Publications, making myself famous, making sure that exactly people know about me. That's what I would do. And I think, Shamoon, I'm so happy for you. You're right on track. And as I always say, that when the great get going, the going gets great. So you can also basically, as I said, look at this YouTube, and Rohan Bhatti from Facebook. Also watch us on Facebook. Ask us your questions from Facebook. Ask us your questions from YouTube. Ask us your questions from Zoom. You can ask us even from Vimeo now. Even if you can go on my website, you can ask us a question from there. Rohan Bhatti from Facebook. What will be the merit-based Trump immigration policy look like? Everything is up in the air, but it should be very much similar to Canada. I just want to see that there's some proof in the pudding. I want the pudding to be there so we all can talk. But I'm waiting for that. And, it'll be similar to Canada and Australia and how other countries are. So let's see as to what they come up with, really. So they're going to look at people who have, degrees in computer science and the sciences. That's what would be the number one criteria, I believe. Now, that's my personal kind of knowledge in this regard. Thank you, Rohan, for this fantastic question. And thank you to everybody for asking us questions. And as you all can see, we get questions all the time. And, if you have any further questions, let us know. And I'm waiting for some more questions here. Okay, from Sharma Meenu from Facebook. Do you take cases outside of New York courts? Yes, we handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. So we have clients from all over America, and we have 35 people working in our firm. Our staff is 35. So by God's grace, we've been growing, and we handle employment-based immigration, deportation defense, family-based immigration, entertainers, battered spouses, and federal immigration cases, which means anytime if a case becomes very difficult, we actually get cases from law firms. We've also gotten cases from the government in the past. So the question is that we get referred cases from many different people, and even judges have referred cases to our firms from the local courthouses. We've had people from NYPD who have been our clients. We've had clients from the DEA, and they all are wonderful people. So we've serviced in the personal capacity. I mean, so we've had people from even people from the United Nations have been our clients. Yes. So yes. So let's take another question. Yarmak, what can my husband do? He was just fired from his job and has an H-1B visa. His job market is terrible. I do not work. So first thing is that he can get in touch with me. Yarmak, your husband can get in touch with me by emailing me at info@gehilaw.com. Firstly, don't stress because he has 60 days to leave the country or change his status. And let's see what we can do. Depending on your husband's qualification, we may be able to have a solution to the problem. So firstly, I'm very sorry that this happened, but email me his resume with his phone number at info@gehilaw.com. And I'm going to type it here. So you can email me at info@gehilaw.com. And if you want to call us or call us at, tomorrow you can call us at So even if you're watching this show from anywhere in the United States or the world, you can call us or you can send an email. And our first initial personal consultation is free. And remember, it only applies to people who are here to retain a lawyer. But if you're doing an application on your own, then you need to call immigration. If you have a lawyer, if you're planning on changing the lawyer, we can assist you. But if you're looking for a second opinion, that is paid. We like to make the rules very clear so that there are no misunderstandings or miscommunications. Because sometimes people think that they expect us to give us answers so they can do the forms and everything on their own. We don't do that. For that, you have immigration to call, and they will be happy to help you with that service. So, folks, this was an excellent show, and let's take a question from Amit Parekh. Is there a difference between regular divorce law and immigration-related divorces? Now, divorce is a divorce, and it falls under state law. But the grounds of the divorce can become very important, especially when it comes to immigration. So therefore, if you're getting a divorce in any state, it is very much advisable for you to retain a good immigration lawyer. For example, we have people who get divorces in other states, and they immediately let the divorce lawyer know that I want you to get in touch with Mr. Gehi, whom I've retained for immigration. Now, why that is important? Because most divorce lawyers do not know the consequences of immigration. And because if you do not take your divorce on a proper ground, that can or that may become a problem in your case. So therefore, when you are going for a divorce, and if there is an immigration issue involved, always make sure that you also retain an immigration lawyer. So especially when you have a 2-year green card, your spouse is deporting you, or you're in the middle of your green card, your spouse is kind of basically trying to, withdraw your immigration application, then you need to consult an attorney. So the word is like, before she withdraws the application, or if you're in the process of your green card, then you need to consult an immigration attorney. So folks, this is attorney Naresh Gehi. Thank you for watching. And as I mentioned, next week's show, as I announced earlier, is going to be very, very important. And we'll talk about that subject. And we'll make sure that, we are going to talk about deportations, as I mentioned. And, can you can you still get, can you be eligible for a green card if you have a deportation order? So that's very important, and that's meant for people who are out of status and who have been ordered deported and who want to settle in this country by getting the green card. Now, last question from Michael Rubistello from Facebook. I want to see some more YouTubes. I want to see some more Zoomers. Facebook is topping the list. We need more people. We need some competition here, folks. How can I get my grandmother out of Naples from Kuwait? She is a bread baker and is trying to leave for fear of dying from COVID. Firstly, I'm very sorry to hear about her situation. Your grandmother. So now, if she's in Naples, firstly, if she's a baker, you need to look for a bakery that can sponsor for a green card. And if her skills are very good, a good Italian restaurant or a bakery that does bread baking, or they bake other things, they can sponsor for a green card. Or the other thing is that there's another way to do it, Michael. If you could email me, if she can start a business in America, she can still come in on a work visa to America. So it's not that difficult. And Michael, you can email me tomorrow and I'll be happy to get in touch with you. I think that's food for thought for you because she's from Naples, that may help you. So send me an email tomorrow at info@gehilaw.com and I'd love to talk to you. So folks, thank you so much. And we'll be back again next week. It's, as I said, a very important show coming up is how to get your green card if you're undocumented or if you have been ordered, removed / deported from the United States. Thank you for watching Green Card with Gehi. Again, next week, same time, same place, Wednesday evening, 6:30, Green Card with Gehi. And if you have any questions, if you're watching the show anywhere in the world, we can help you with the immigration matter. The instant program constitutes an attorney advertisement. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome. Thank you so much.